All right. Awesome. My team has no idea that I'm doing this, by the way. Welcome to the introduction to the Be Your Best show. We've not even created the website yet. How can it be the best if we don't have a website, if we're launching raw and real? Well, I didn't say the show is the best show. I said the show is about being your best, about being my best. That's what it's all about. I'm super excited to be launching this. It's going to go hand in hand with our program visionproslive.com. And I just wanted, I want your feedback. I want you involved in this process. I want to make sure that, um, all the type of content that we create for this is real, authentic, open. Looking forward to your feedback as well. The Be Your Best show is about learning to become your best self. It's about stepping into that and not being scared to be bold and to do things that are different than other people may profess. You need to do things in order to be successful. I don't believe in that. I believe success comes from an inner appreciation and for coming to understand that we aren't designed to complete what other people think we should complete. We're designed to figure out what is the impact we're supposed to have. What's our purpose? How is it that I can step into being my best self so I get the best types of results for my life every day, every moment? Can I love myself fully? Can I forgive myself fully? Can I allow myself to move forward fast so that shame and guilt do not dominate my life? Can I allow myself to create the types of relationships, cultivate relationships that help me be even better? And so I'm gonna and be more connected with where I want to go in life. So the thought process, you'll definitely see me on this show think through things. You'll see that I'm also going to be doing interviews on the show. That the interviews are going to be paramount to the success of the show, of course. And I'm super excited about this because I need a space. I need a different space than Vision Pros Live to be able to not pull any punches, to be able to interview leaders at max capacity. So that does mean there's a difference in dynamic between the purpose of Vision Pros Live and the purpose of the Be Your Best Show.com. So let me pull that up. I want to share the screen with you so you can see it, and hopefully you'll catch the vision too of which aspect means the most to you. I do want to state as well. I'm a big believer in being a producer, not a consumer. Granted, we all need to consume as well. We have different things that we need to learn in life. So there's certain aspects, certain lessons, certain podcasts that I will turn to, and tons of books that I will read and learn from, and tons of movies as well. I really like to learn from movies. But you. I remember being an avid student of the smartpassiveincome.com show as well as digitalmarketer.com when I was very new to the marketing world, and John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, and listening to quite a few of his episodes, and studying Dan Martell and Ramit Sethi. I mean, I can go on and on about the list of people that ultimately Jake Larson helped me find and figure out. So there was a season and a time where I needed to kind of consume it all. And now I'm in a season where I need to consume very specific information based on very specific opportunities. And so I'm more likely to hire Colin Herdman than go and listen to a podcast of him every day. I'm more likely to consult with and bring on Rand as a board director so that I can get access to the well of knowledge. But I'm not going to sit there and to try to consume 100 million pages of these individuals' lives. And so that's not something I need to do. When I was younger, I would have loved to tune in to a program like this where people are exploring their visions, and I'm seeing it from different angles and different areas. But as a host of the show, I've realized that I'm a little bit too direct with people who did not sign up, where their vision is full and ready to show off, where they still have concepts, they're still not ready. So here we are, the BeYourBestShow.com. This will be turned into a website here within a couple of days or weeks. I have a feeling it will lean towards weeks because I tend to be slower to think through things. Today I was on a show with RJ Parrish, and RJ's from Evoke Media Lab. So I want to give him credit because it is him, and the way he hosted that show where I said, you know what, it's time that I just go live and talk about the Be Your Best show and create that first prologue. It's not as cool as JJ Redick's was when he launched Mind the Game with LeBron James. How cool was that? Their setup and tee up. If you want to follow a great framework for strategy and how to launch a podcast and show, I highly recommend modeling what they did. You won't get the results of JJ Redick and LeBron James because you probably don't have the same followership that they do. But the principles they followed for their launch was awesome. And so when RJ and I were talking, he brought up a quote, just like being inspired by listening to how I've kind of built things. And he's like, wow, he's like, so you started your businesses based on the impact you wanted to make. And I was like, you know what? That's huge. That's so profound. That is exactly what I've done. That's how I've gotten involved in the business world. So people think I'm a marketer or whatever. Like, no, I've always had this dream and goal of helping bridge the economic gap between North America, South America, rest of the world, to help as many towns like the one that I was living in called Uruguay, down in Uruguay, a little place called Vergara. Well, please look it up on the map. Take a look and see like just how off the beaten path that little town is, and how much those people likely need new resources and training and people to help them with growth. So this is the program that we've been creating to make that happen. And I'm really grateful for RJ's inspiration, and how he kind of came to that conclusion, because it's not something that I think I've ever put a voice to, but that's exactly who I've been and how I've lived. Is no, I don't open dry cleaners just to open a dry cleaner. And I'm not against the rich dad, poor dad philosophies. In fact, that book really helped me with my process of launching what we have built. And this is our Latino podcast, by the way. So yeah, we have a couple podcasts. I think we're up to 4 or 5 different types of shows. And my co-hosts, they run the show. So you've got here, let me see if I'll want to display on that one. Let's see, let's go one of these older ones that'll probably pull up. Yep, there's Lisa, who's a co-host. And this is somebody who 6 weeks into working with us, she decided to host the show, and she hosted this guy, Kike Ingles, Kike Rodriguez, who has over 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. And that would have terrified me to host a show like that, having never heard of podcasting. She had never heard of it. She had never used Canva or Upwork or Fiverr, hadn't heard of any of those. She had a LinkedIn with like no picture and had never really used it before. But this whole world of digital opportunity was completely new. And here's Cynthia, who did yet another interview with Kike, because he loves what we're up to. And we're so grateful for the type of support that we've been able to create in such a short amount of time with this particular program. And on the show with RJ, I also revealed and talk about how we how we work as a team. What types of activities do we put into place as leadership to help inspire the Latinos, the Filipinos, and the Indians that we work with, in order to help them develop as what we call digital ambassadors. And the way we design our program is to find the best teachers through YouTube and connect with them authentically, not pitch them, not ask them, what, if they want to work with us. The goal is to learn from them and then to just give sincere gratitude. And we're building out more and more catalogs of general influencers, like they're just leaders in the world, virtual assistants, go high level technicians, designers, web development. There's so many different catalogs we're going to build for this. And it connects us to these amazing leaders who are growing what they're up to. And then we invite them to be on our podcasts and shows. But it also allows us to train our team members to where they get a stronger depth of knowledge related to all of the potential jobs that they might be interested in fulfilling for our company and for the clients that we also work with. It's really about making sure that everybody becomes their best self and empowering that and inspiring people to do that. And a lot of what drives that, is this is a boilerplate presentation, if you will, and for clients. And it walks people through. We got a program called the Power Launch that will kind of help you understand. And it's 2.5 hours, I think, 2 hours of me walking you through things like this, that I don't understand why and how entrepreneurs think they're going to be successful when they don't have these pieces in place. I mean, I do understand why they think that, because I was that solopreneur in the past too, but I never succeeded. It was awful. It was a terrible experience. I was a terrible leader. I didn't know how to empower people. I didn't know how to help people. I was lost. I didn't want to admit I was lost. I wasn't necessarily being inauthentic, but I wasn't being authentic. And there's a big gap in between those things, and I wasn't paying attention to this reality, that 96% of business owners was within 10 years because I didn't want to see the worst case scenario. I didn't want to consider the failure aspect. I wanted to assume that I was the exception to the rule. And I suffered with things like, again, this all points out lack of clarity and like driving attention based on mediocre hype and not realizing the type of desperate leads that attracts, and that the wise and the confused minds say no when you look like that, when you act like that, and the lack of direction, right? Pages leading to dead ends and prospects getting lost, and the great leads ultimately moving on. I made lots of websites with lots of noise, and I tried to follow one business model after another, from like monthly retainers to annual retainers to, oh man, let's go back to just trying to do one-on-one stuff, but I should launch a group. And what if I created a catalog or a course thing that people can buy and do it for themselves, and all the do it yourself, done with you, done for you, all that stuff. Like I say down here, it's not wrong, but if you lack clarity and you lack execution, you lack the support that you need, like it's not going to drive the types of results that you want. You end up building a partial bridge. You end up, usually you have something amazing, but nobody can get to it. Nobody can see it. They know you're amazing, but you're not there for them. And you're not present. You don't have this stuff scaled out to help people cross. And so you end up with a lot of challenges. And I ended up with a ton of challenges. So, um, again, back to the idea of Vision Pros, the Be Your Best show, our other show, the Power Take. Um, where it's really fun to see 2 years ago, all these things, Passion Pro, opportunities, first class business, all started to intersect. And I realized this grand vision was actually united. And all of the streets were going to intersect for helping people in different ways. And that would empower me to be able to just show up and help people to the best of my ability. And, if I can't help somebody, it's easy to send them to something else. But I also decided, what would it be like if every time we met somebody, we tried to find the best provider out there. Right. Vision Pros helps us do that too. It's part of our incubation process of strategic partnerships and vendors that are out there. And then, if we find these vendors who are great at what they do, one, we can help our Latino team, our Philippines team, and our Indian team, and we might have others in the future. I don't know. It's all about finding the right leader to help lead those causes. I don't try to just like force my way into some random country, and try to influence them. That's silly. We need great leaders established in every zone or region that we decide to continue to expand towards. But what if I took the opportunity to learn from the best of the best and then taught these individuals how to model what's being done by the best of the best and to create procedures, resources, and templates for how to do what they do? And I'll give a big shout out as well. Once again, I'll circle back to Jake from Video Power Marketing, where we had a course for he had a course for how to help people um, build build an audience, drive conversions for, man, I'm ruining one of my favorite stories. But anyway, when you looked up how to make money on YouTube, we were number one for that article. But that article was all about how to do that through ads. And all these 70,000 people per month were coming to the website, and it blew my mind. I was like, wow, what if some of these people, like in 10 years from now, become amazing video producers out of Sri Lanka and elsewhere and completely transform and change their lives? This is the coolest thing ever. And I got really, really excited about just how far we can expand education and how much we can give to the world by creating systems like Jake had created. And I became obsessed with it. I was like, man, I got to learn everything I can about this process and try to bring this to the world. And so we've been working on our courses and on our procedures and on our resources and our templates and how to create just that. And now we've got a pretty big team. I mean, we got like 15 people committed to building this out every single day and trying to make it happen. And so I really hope that leaders, what they get out of the Be Your Best show is that, one, it's okay to be imperfect as you strive to be your best. And your best is going to be a gritty, nasty, good, bad, and ugly process of doing what you can and hopefully learning to forgive yourself in the process for any shortcomings you have, and not take it too seriously. Enjoy the process. Enjoyment is a big part of being your best. And my hope is that I'll attract enough leaders to come on. I mean, people like Simon Sinek, people that I really, really believe in, people who will really meet me in the capacity to where I can ask super hard questions. The questions that are vulnerable and the questions that are real, the ones that are like no, like really, how did that happen? And I know that that's the way you tell the story, but what was going on behind the scenes? As that occurred, what did you have any types of difficulties with your marriage through this process? And what does that look like? And great leaders have the ability to not get scared when having interviews of that nature. They have the ability to share vulnerably what needs to be shared while also protecting their loved ones, while also protecting their realities. And so I'm not trying to create a show where I expose people. I'm trying to create an environment where great leaders will come and tell the truth, where great leaders will help all of those who are listening in catch as many of the variables as possible that, while this system worked for this person, what was it about their circumstance that like actually made that thing work? And what would they not have? What would have completely inhibited others from being able to have the same types of results that they have? And if they're not willing to highlight it, I will. And they have to be willing and ready for that on the show, because it's not fair to somebody who's trying to grow to try to make them think that they can produce the same types of results that person A is able to create without knowing the variables that could block or make this or make that a much harder process for them. I see a lot of I'll give another example. I see a lot of bro marketers, for instance, promote to the world just how amazing and easy it is to grow. And they stand in front of airplanes they don't own, and they have glasses that they probably put on a credit card, and sunglasses and all this stuff. And they try to make it look so cool and so attainable for everybody. But they don't admit the amount of support they get from family and friends and the amount of debt that they carry. They want to make it look like that nobody's going to go through that, or that everybody who has all that debt already can still get the same results they got, even though they didn't start with nearly as difficult of an uphill battle. I see a lot of boss babes doing the same. I see a lot of women out there who make it look so easy, and they talk about it being easy, yet they have a husband who has a salary, who's sustaining everything that they do. I have a former client who hadn't made a single dime in 22 years, and had invested $250,000, $250,000 in what they were doing. And they were being authentic, though. They were being open with the reality. It took us about 90 days to get them to where they landed their first hospital client, which was huge. And it was great. It was the first time. I think they made a little bit over 20,000 on that particular transaction. But that's besides. My point is, all the variables that went on behind the scenes that people want to hide and pretend don't exist. The realities of what it took to get there and make that happen. I worry for the rest of the world. It's like what all the good people who assume that the leaders out there are sharing authentically, fully, what it does actually take in order to win. And if we don't have more leaders step up to share vulnerably just how hard it is, just how much work goes into it, why we might be the exception to the rule, what base we had, what expectations, would ideally look like, what guarantees don't exist. It's so important to prepare people for a true path in order for people to have true success. And that's what the Be Your Best show will be all about. I got to run for a meeting. I'm late. My team deserves me to be on time. There I am, right? Not quite being my best, but at the same time, doing the best that I can. And I hope to inspire you to do the exact same. Thanks for joining me. And I look forward to seeing your comments about the show. And please, your doubts, your fears, what you think you'll get out of this, ideas for the process too. Like give it all to me. Please help me do this, because I can't build this for what everybody else wants unless I'm listening to what everybody else wants and what people would like to see out of a show like this. So while I'm passionate and kind of bullheaded and like self-assured about, I know how to do, I don't know how to do this without the leaders who come by my side and help me optimize it to become what the world needs. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic rest of your week.